guys, how's it going? Now feel free to correct me in the comments if necessary, but I feel like Inaros is one of those frames that received quite a bit of hate or distaste from the community, at least prior to the recent rework. Maybe not as bad as Monkey though. I mean, I kinda understood one part of it, and that yeah, he wasn't exactly the most exciting frame to play. Some of his skills also didn't scale all that well in higher level content introduced in the last couple of years or so. It was basically press 4 until you're 100% hard, and then you can go around throwing sand into enemy eyes if you'd like. The second ability, I believe, that gave invulnerability, was kinda comical after a certain point for me, namely when Profit Taker was first introduced and everyone got frustrated by the instant nukes from who knows what. Inaros was one of the popular choices for that mission because of that ability to completely ignore all damage. I was like, wait, DE allows this? No strings attached type of invulnerability in Warframe? Oh, but OG Catchmoon, that crossed the line. And there was also this other ability I believe no one really talked about. With all that said, I never really found myself hating him and subscribing to the apparent meme within the Warframe community. Yeah, he isn't great for all the reasons listed, but when you need a setup that works for tanking lots of damage with a minimal effort put in, I can't think of an easier frame to equip and go than Inaros. I believe I made a Lich Hunter build video where only like 6 or 7 out of the 8 standard mod slots were filled. It was kind of the point of the video, but yeah, minimal effort to just have you set and on your way to grinding for the next 4 or 5 hours for Kuva weapons or something. Is that something you guys find yourselves doing a lot of the times in Warframe, or is that just a me thing? Post rework though, I do believe the reception is a lot more positive. I mean, Inaros' kit is so much better now that I can kinda be just as lazy as I was before, yet go farther than I ever have. Like I had no problems running Deep Archimedia with a half-assed build, albeit with none of the restrictions. I'll show you what I did. But first, for the sake of making sure everyone's on the same page here, I'm just gonna go through a short summary of all the new or newly reworked passives and abilities. Inaros used to rely on his sarcophagus to siphon life force from surrounding enemies to escape a bleed out, which doesn't sound like the worst idea until you find out that it progressed slower than companies trying to figure out Valve's impeccable business strategy. The new Undying passive has Inaros reincarnating as a sand version of himself on entering bleed out, where you will then have to melee attack enemies in order to revive yourself. As for the secondary passive, killing enemies with finishers restores 20% of Inaros' max health. Neat. Desiccation, aka Pocket Sand, still involves tossing sand around, but better this time. The ability deals true damage, and a portion of the damage dealt is converted into health restored on Inaros. Enemies also become open to melee finishers. Sandstorm, arguably the best ability on this guy now, has you spinning like a sand twister, pulling in enemies and ragdolling them while dealing slash damage every second. Each enemy trapped also restores 50 health, and Inaros is invulnerable while using this ability. I should also note that you do move a lot faster than base move speed with Sandstorm, and the ability is affected by movement speed mods. It's also nice how enemies are dropped conveniently around you once the ability ends, and they're all open to ground finishers. Next up is Scarab Shell, which is the armor and status immunity part split from Inaros' previous ultimate in a standalone ability now. Certainly like the new percentage indicator and how you can move around while channeling this. And the last one, Scarab Swarm, summons an army of scarabs to attack enemies dealing corrosive damage that scales with Inaros' health, with a side of guaranteed corrosion procs. Any enemies killed while under the effects of those scarabs will also spawn swarm kavats that then go around spreading more swarmy goodness. Sorry for the interruption guys, yeah, ads suck, especially on YouTube, but how about a helpful recommendation? I bet you all buy your games on Steam, which is great, but what if there's a way to get those games and some free stuff on the side? Well, all you gotta do is just buy them on Green Man Gaming, where even if you get something at full price, you'll still receive benefits in the form of XP, which is part of their loyalty program. All the Steam keys sold here are also sourced directly from the publishers, so no middlemen or scammy nonsense. I've also found that sometimes there's better deals here than on even Steam. Not to mention that a portion of any money spent on Green Man Gaming does go towards ecosystem restoration initiatives, which is pretty cool to see. It's kinda nice to know that your dollar would go further than just ending up in some OnlyFans Thoughts bathtub. So the next time you're thinking about buying games, it's probably worth checking out Green Man Gaming through the links in the description. Even just clicking on them to see what's on sale today does help out the channel a lot.
Please note that for adblock users, the links in the description may get flagged. Do not be alarmed. Your internet history is safe. Purchases made on the site are recorded solely for the purposes of crediting the channel appropriately. It helps Mello afford some time for the month.
So yeah, feel free to whitelist and save those links, save yourself some money, and get gaming today. Now, I should admit that I could always do better with my builds, especially this one with Inaros. It's definitely a work in progress type of thing, but I could also just pass this off as a lazy build and try to see if I can get away with it. I mean, I'll show you how good it is as is. Mecha Empowered, Coaction Drift, Naira's Hatred, and Health Conversion are all here because of existing polarities. I just didn't feel like reformatting the slots, as I am, not gonna lie, kinda running a little low on former for all the crazy unhinged spending I've been doing on pointless weapons like the Spectra Vandal. Yeah. Arcane Trickery is here for fun. I had the idea of possibly foregoing health mods on Inaros in order to free up space for boosting other stats and just relying on invisibility for survivability, as a lot of Inaros' abilities now make it easier for you to perform finishers. Probably not the most reliable strategy, and I'm certainly not brave enough to make such a build to then put it on YouTube. Oh no, that's definitely not gonna end well. And you know what else is not gonna end well? Shoving all your shards around carelessly like what I did here. I guess there was some thought put into it. The emerald one is to boost the corrosion stacks, obviously. The two violet shards are there to improve energy orb effectiveness, basically acting as a pseudo equilibrium, which I wasn't able to equip because of the stupid build with the messed up polarities. And on we go to do some testing. I decided to grab the good old pennant with the existing heavy attack build from back in the day. Dozens of exo officers, and they all just get taken down without breaking a sweat. And these guys are supposed to be really tough, with around 67 million EHP. Fodder mobs like the Grenadier Lancers are even easier. It's kind of fun to round them all up to land at your feet before a 1-2 heavy attack with the pennant, or press E once and do a finisher that triggers Arcane Trickery. Enemies be like, where did the Tenno go? Why is there sand in my eyes? And hey, this Warframe setup along with a radiation modded Latum or Latum worked surprisingly well in Elite Archimedia. Of course, I didn't bother having the restrictions on, just wanted to see how well Inaros would do in terms of survivability against level 3 to 400 super duper empowered enemies. And the lazy build performed quite well. I felt like it could survive almost indefinitely. There was a bit of an energy problem initially, but that was what those Archon shards are for. Crazy how good a Sandstorm is. I might actually start using Inaros more for defense objective oriented missions, just for the simple fact that I can just pull all the garbage away to a back alley, so to speak, just take them out with massive slash procs. So do you guys find Inaros to be a fun frame to use now? Good even? I'm sure with more effort you could probably get him to do well with one of those level cap type builds. I wonder which frame the community will go after this time in an effort to force a rework. Rhino? I like how D is taking into account endgame level content, endgame in quotes, when doing these reworks now. It's probably a lot of effort, certainly way more effort put into their games and products than other companies like, say, Snoy. Now, Snoy is a company that you really need to be wary of, always. And also Micro. I don't know why I bought all these things in the first place, but I think it's making the line go up. It's fine, everything's fine. Nothing is burning. Soft. As always, please do check out the links in the description to the Discord server and merch store, or Ko-Fi and Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. Your help is very, very much appreciated. Otherwise, it's totally fine. You could also click on one of the other videos here to watch more.